The Red Sox are circling Isaac Paredes, and that matters for Houston. Boston's hunting impact infield bats. Paredes is healthy, productive, and firmly on their radar. While the Astros pivot away from Eduardo Cabrera and reshape their rotation on their way, leverage is building in this offseason just got louder.
Jainer Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Heisman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chansey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Heisman. He is Brett Chansey. We hope that you make us part of your daily routine, whether it's on YouTube. Go subscribe to us. Go and make us first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, go and check us out. We think it's cool to become an everydayer. That's why we have this Everydayers Club. It has a newsletter. It has ad-free audio. It has where you can communicate with Brett and I. So we'll talk about the Everydayer audio subscription later. But thank you for making us your first listen. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. So I know that the offseason is kind of creeping along. You're like, well, the Astros haven't made any big moves. Mike Burrows, that was a big move, but we'll have to see how it plays out. But I know that the Red Sox are still kicking the tires of some infielders across the league, and Isaac Paredes is still one of them that they have their eyes on. So will the Astros actually trade their third baseman that meant so much to the Astros lineup last year? And what is he doing right now playing in Winter League baseball right now? And apparently, I didn't really know the Astros were in, but the Astros are out on Eduardo Cabrera. So we'll talk about this and more on tonight's Locked On Astros podcast.
Yeah, Eric. Well, I'm sure you had a Merry Christmas. I know we did. And the New Year's is fast approaching. The Texans have secured a playoff spot, so that's exciting here in Houston. We had an 80-degree Christmas day, like always, and then tomorrow it's going to be in the 40s. So go figure, right? Just like that, just like you mentioned, Eduardo Cabrera, not realizing he was on the radar. Isaac Paredes being targeted by the Red Sox, which is interesting because I really have been in the camp all along that Alex Bregman will end up back in Boston. Okay. Just because I think he fits there. I think he is just, his makeup fits Boston. And he just seems like a guy that would be wearing a Red Sox uniform for a long time. But Eric, they've got a lot of targets on their mind. Bregman, Bichette, Marte, Paredes, and Donovan. Are they the new Yankees? Because remember when it's always the offseason, the Yankees are like, we're going to sign everybody. The Red Sox are kind of like, we need to sign everybody. Why? Because there's now these beasts of the East, like the Toronto Blue Jays, and we've got to compete with them.
Yeah, and I believe that Bo Bichette is a free agent. He's the only, and Alex Bregman are a free agent. So if you're looking at not making a trade, those are the two guys that the Red Sox can go out and acquire without trading prospects, without trading pitchers. But it just depends on what the Red Sox want to do. Ketel Marte, that's going to be a hard get. Apparently, teams are kind of pulling out their interest because the Diamondbacks with I think they have the right to do this, but Marte is such a good player that they just want a king's ransom for him, and so they're just not really interested in trading him. Brendan Donovan, I know that there's been a lot of talk about him being traded. He would probably fit what the Red Sox are trying to do, just like he would fit in the Astros system. But I think the Cardinals, they're holding on for their one big trade piece. I know that the Red Sox already made a trade for Wilson Contreras. He was going to play first base, but that doesn't mean that they are out on another infielder. They'll love to bring back Alex Bregman, but are they going to be able to meet in the middle or kind of come with something. I know Alex Bregman wants a longer contract. He's willing to sacrifice the money per year to get basically more security long term. But Isaac Paredes is that guy that he has a proven track record. I don't think it's going to cost a lot to get him. And I know Brandon Bello, he's the pitcher for the Red Sox. I've heard some fans kind of throw his name there. Maybe that would be a guy that, what if you can get him? He's signed to a extension. He's got this is a guy that maybe the Red Sox are kind of down on. Maybe you can get him. Maybe he's another prospect, and you can add another piece to your rotation.
Yeah, exactly. While the Astros seem to be, spinning their wheels and not doing anything, you've got teams like the A's that are, they extended Tyler Soderstrom to a 7-year contract with an 8th-year club option, which is absolutely insane. But staying on track with this Boston Red Sox, Houston Astros, Alex Bregman. So what Alex Bregman does will be contingent on what Ketel Marte does. So, well, not what Ketel Marte does, because he's a trade piece. If the D-backs trade Ketel Marte to the Red Sox, well, then Bregman's out, obviously. But if Ketel Marte gets traded somewhere else, that money comes off the books. That's a big contract that you have to erase from the books of the Diamondbacks. And there is one commentator, and I can't remember the guy's name. I would give you his name, but I can't remember. It is a radio station, I believe, in Phoenix. He said he's heard that Bregman is begging the Diamondbacks to bring him in because he has a house in Arizona. He has been looking to sign with Arizona. And although I'm sure Bregman wants to land in Arizona because he's got a house there, he trains there, it's a nice warm climate, all that stuff, I don't know that he's begging. Maybe we're playing semantics here, but the top 2 places I have for Bregman are the Red Sox and the Diamondbacks. And I think if he goes to the Diamondbacks, Paredes is in play for the Red Sox. But if, Bregman goes back, then, Paredes, I think, stays here. I know he is tradable. I know he is an asset that has a lot of value. And Eric, he appears to be healthy, which for the Astros, if he's in a Nationals uniform opening day, which I fully anticipate, is a very good sign for the 2026 season. Because, Eric, this team needs him healthy.
Yeah, he is what the Astros are wanting to do. He is a contact hitter. He is a hitter that was basically leading the Astros lineup for most of the season. I think if you look overall, Jeremy Pena had the best season of a Houston Astro. But if Paredes didn't miss the 2 months, whatever it was that he missed, he would have been up there. And I think that the Astros don't want to trade him. But like we've said, he is their most valuable trade piece. If you're going to trade Christian Walker, yes, you would move some of the salary, but you're going to have to eat a majority of that contract if you don't want to give up other prospects in return, depending on what you're going to get. And so I just think that, I think they'll figure out a way to make it work. That might mean that you'll have Alvarez and Altuve playing more left field. If you keep both Paredes and Walker, you're going to have Paredes playing some more second base. So I don't think it's a terrible idea to keep Paredes, but they're trying to explore what his value is right now. And of all the players that the Astros have to trade between Myers, Walker, and Paredes, he has the most trade value. So whether it's adding more pieces to the minor league system, if it's adding more rotation depth, if it's adding more bullpen depth, the Astros are looking to see what they could do. But in a second, we're going to talk about what Paredes is doing in a winter league baseball, and it looks pretty good. He looks like he's ready to help the Houston Astros in 2026. So guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day.
I want to thank y'all for tuning in to Locked On Astros, and we know that it is basketball season, and Fridays already feel different during basketball season, and FanDuel's making them even better. Every Friday night before the games tip off, FanDuel gives fans a new way to kick off the weekend with NBA Happy Hour. NBA Happy Hour is your official pregame, a limited time window where special offers drop right inside the FanDuel app before the action starts. Fridays from 6 to 7:30 Eastern have become appointment viewing with NBA Happy Hour. Opening the FanDuel app during happy hour always brings something new, boost, bonuses, and surprises. It's easy to check the weekly special before tip-off and make a move before the window closes. I mean, you're going with that props for Reed Shepherd over 5 3-pointers in the game. The timing is perfect right before the games, right before the weekend starts. It adds extra energy to every Friday night basketball without overthinking it. So before tip-off, check out the FanDuel app and see what's dropping during NBA Happy Hour. Every Friday from 6 to 7:30 Eastern PM, a little basketball, a little action, and a whole lot of Friday energy. That's NBA Happy Hour only on FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA.
Hey guys, let's go and talk about the Everyday Club. It's something awesome that you can be part of, whether it's the newsletter that you get to be part of in terms of the Everydayers all access, or whether it's just the ad-free version. There's just so many different valuable assets that you can be part of. There's a Discord. You can have just directly access Brett and I anytime with subtext, and we'll respond to you. And it's just a cool little thing. So if you want to be part of the Everydayers Club, just go ahead and go to lockedonastros.supercast.com, and you can go and join the Everydayers Club, and we'll be there kind of trying to talk you through whatever is going to happen over the next few months or so before spring training starts. So I do want to make a correction. I think we said Eduardo. It's actually Edward Cabrera. So
Edward Cabrera. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I said Eduardo, but hey, real quick, and something I missed, Eric. The Houston Cougars won the Kinder Texas Bowl. Man, the Go Cougars. They beat the LSU Tigers. That was a huge thing. And look, having lived in Louisiana for a couple years myself, I know how big that Tiger fan base is. It was red, and it was whose house? It was Cougs' house. Willie Fritz celebrated, and Connor Wegeman, their starting quarterback, is on his way out. They've got the new Kyson Henderson coming in as the new future of U of H Cougars football. So next year's going to be really, really exciting. They capped off this year with the bowl win. So congrats to the Cougars and all you U of H alumni who were able to enjoy that game.
Yeah, go Cougs. I totally forgot about that. It was a good time to kind of step away from sports for a few days, just because we do the daily podcast, and then I've been working a lot, and it was just good to just kind of relax. I did watch the Texans game yesterday, and that was exciting, but we're excited about the Astros, and that's kind of what we're focusing on. And I know that you have the kind of rumors that maybe Jose Altuve, depending on how he feels, is going to play in the World Baseball Classic. You have a lot of other players that they're saying, well, maybe they'll play in the World Baseball Classic. But right now, you have Isaac Paredes, who's actually playing in the Winter League. And this is not something that a lot of veteran players do. But I guess after missing so much time last year with the hamstring issue, he's wanting to not just prove to the Astros, but prove to himself and get ready for major league action, because he's a big part of this team. And just because we keep on bringing this up, guys, that does not mean we want to trade him.
Right.
So, Brett, what is Paredes doing?
Oh, right now he is I wouldn't say he's hitting the cover off the ball, but he's actually playing quite well. 7 games, 19 at bats, 4 runs, 5 hits, 2 RBI, 6 walks, only 2 strikeouts, a slash line of 263, 481, 263, and OPS of 744. Yeah, absolutely love that. So you like to see what he's doing there in the winter ball, there in Mexico. And it means he's actually healthy. He's out there playing baseball. He's not limited. He's doing what he can. Of course, I believe he is playing. I believe he's hitting DH in these games. But it's a good thing to see, because the Astros need him fully healthy. I mean, if you look back on his 2025 season, Eric, 20 home runs, 254 average, 53 RBI, and 809 OPS. I mean, this guy was your home run and RBI leader when he exited the field due to the injury. A fully operational and fully healthy Isaac Paredes, I know, creates a conundrum in the infield, but I don't think that if he's here, there's going to be any problems getting him out on the field. The Astros will have it figured out. All the fuzzy math, all the 4D chess will get figured out come opening day for the Houston Astros, and we'll have a spot for this guy in the lineup, I would hope, every single day.
Yeah, and it just goes back to what happened once they drafted Alex Bregman. They had somebody playing shortstop already, Carlos Correa, but they found a way for him to play. The same thing with Isaac Paredes. They're going to find a way to get him out there, whether it's getting him some at-bats at DH, whether it's him playing second base, third base. They're going to find a way to keep him in the lineup because he was one of the key bats. And so as much as I think that he is their most valuable trade asset, I think that if they don't get what they want, they're not going to trade him because he is too valuable to this team. He is exactly what Dana Brown has been preaching about. We want people that make good contact, that don't chase, that take some walks, that can extend and bat. And that's what Isaac Paredes can do. And they've been chasing this guy for a few years, and they finally got him in the Kyle Tucker trade. And so I just don't see them just giving him away for nothing. So if they trade Isaac Paredes, it's going to be for something that they feel like is going to help the Astros now and later. And so just know that Dana Brown is very cognizant of what he means to this lineup, and so does Joe Spada.
Well, we've seen this trade market inflated as it is with the Astros were in on Boz, and then they were out on him, and then they had the 3-team trade, and then you saw who the Orioles gave up to get the pitcher from Tampa Bay. Huge price to pay. Now, who knows if those 4 prospects turn out to be anything?
Right.
But at the end of the day, it all has to do with what your market is. And, that leads us into kind of start talking about what other people have the Astros been interested in when it comes to pitching. And Edward Cabrera is one of those guys that they had been looking at from the Marlins. He's not Alcantara, but he is a guy that has a pretty decent resume and has had a fair amount of success. And we can talk more about what that means. The Astros aren't going to leave a stone unturned. Dana Brown is going to exhaust everything, and the market will speed up once Ketel Marte is traded.
Yeah, if he's even traded, there's a chance that he's not going anywhere. So
true.
I think that the starting market is kind of stalling out a little bit. I think the pitchers that have been signed, you see Dylan Cease signing for this ridiculous amount of money, and you see like Framber Valdez's agent saying, "Hey, I think you see what Dylan Cease signed for. I think I deserve a little bit more." And so this is kind of setting the market for a lot of other pitchers. And so I think the teams are kind of in a wait and see mode, and we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised to see Framber Valdez going to the Orioles, but it just depends on what they decide to do. But guys, we'll go ahead and continue this discussion next. Thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Hey guys, let's go and talk about the Everydayers Club. We really appreciate you coming to Everydayer, listening to our show every day, and making Locked On part of the number one sports podcast out there. If you haven't already, go check out our new Everydayer Club. You can access ad-free audio for Locked On Astros, compatible with Apple Podcast, Spotify, and any other podcast app. You can go and invite other members to the Discord server, which include a group chat for listeners of the show, whether it's Brett or I, we can hang out in there during a game. You can have a discussion with us. We can say, what the heck is Hunter Brown doing during this game? Or look at Isak Brady. He's on fire. So you can also, with this special all access episodes of Locked on Astros, Brett and I will be doing some special episodes, and you can have the one-on-one texting, like I mentioned earlier, through SEP text. So go to lockedonastros.supercast.com or tap the link in the show notes to learn more. So go and join the club. So Brett, I know that Edward Cabrera was somebody that the Astros had expressed some interest, and this was somebody that he fits the mold of Mike Burrows. Not a lot of experience in the big leagues, but that experience has been good. So I think that the Marlins are probably asking a king's ransom for him, and I just don't think that teams were willing to do it. The Orioles and the Astros were definitely out. They already traded for two big pitchers. So I think that's the reason why those two teams were out, honestly.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, Baltimore already kind of played their cards, right, for that one pitcher. Houston, again, they know what they need, but they're also they're not trying to act like they're desperate. The other chips that need to fall for this market to really get moving are the Framber Valdez's, the Ranger Suarez, and people like that.
Right.
I don't know if you and I talked about this. I know I talked about this with Mike, but did you know that Framber Valdez had a 20-minute video that he was sharing with teams, not only during the winter meetings, but also during the GM meetings?
I love my catchers. I'm friends with my catchers.
Yeah, about like, I'm a good guy. I'm not a bad guy. I'm not, hey, look at me. Which kind of like screams a little bit of desperation on his part. But the truth is, you don't replace Framber Valdez in one person. You replace him in the aggregate. You replace him in 2 or 3 players to eat up those innings. Mm-hmm. And right now, Eric, we have a lot of guys that are serviceable arms that if you have the number of arms that we have and they stay healthy, knock on wood, then you have the ability to maybe replicate the innings. Now it's replicating the production, inducing the ground balls, getting the outs so that your team doesn't have to score 10 runs to win a game. That's where the tricky part comes in. And I've heard some people in different communities online saying, well, what if the Astros re-sign Framber, like bring him back? I'm like, they're not bringing him back. I think not only would they have offered, I mean, they did offer him they gave him the qualifying offer, right? They would have offered him a contract extension. Then you would have heard about it. That never happened. That's not going to happen. He won't be here. And so what the Astros need, if Mike Burrows is not the number 2 guy, they're going to have to trade because they don't want to squander the draft picks that they have. They're trying to build for the future, unless you throw caution to the wind, which, Eric, I don't think it'll happen. You throw caution to the wind and you sacrifice 2 draft picks and you go out there and get Ranger Suarez, because the further this goes, the better it is for the owners. The owners are holding on to their cards. The owners are holding on to their wallets because they know the longer they wait, the price drops on the player. So this may be a waiting game also between major league executives and player agents.
All right. So speaking of a waiting game, I'm kind of surprised that Kyle Tucker hasn't found a team yet. I think that he's expecting a $400 million deal. Whether he gets that or not is still up in the air. The Blue Jays are probably the last team that could offer him that big mega deal that he's looking for. The Cubs are likely not to do that. The Astros are definitely not going to do that. But there's been some people online, like Paul Hembo. He suggested that maybe a player like Kyle Tucker can take a short-term option that makes him the highest paid player right now. I wanted to get your reaction on whether Kyle Tucker would even accept this. He said, what if you have a 1 plus a 1 year player option of $52 million per season, where you basically give him $104 million for 2 years, but it's a short-term deal. And the player can opt out after the first year.
Okay.
And then the second suggestion was maybe a 2 plus 2, where it's $43 million for the first 2 years with a player opt out after the second year, and then 2 more years. So basically 4 years in total for $43 million per year. That'll be more than Juan Soto. That'll be more than Shohei Ohtani. So just if it's about making the most money, AAV, it's just an option.
Okay, here's where I think this guy went wrong. He needs to adjust the 52 down to 40. He needs to adjust the 42 or whatever the second number was down to like 35. Okay.
Then there's no incentive for Tucker to do it.
Okay, Kyle Tucker is not getting $40 million a year for a long-term deal, and let me tell you why. His swing does not project to produce the way that other people's swing projects to produce. Number one. Number two, and it's all about mechanics in that long swing. Number two, he has not been able to stay healthy and stay on the field all season long. He's had issues. Number three, he's not good in the post. He's a terrible postseason at bat. I mean, who else was terrible? Craig Biggio, Jeff Bagwell, terrible in the postseason. But is that their legacy? No, well, they are. I mean, go look at the numbers, Eric. They were historically bad. Now, does that mean Craig Biggio isn't Mr. 3000? No. Does that mean that Jeff Bagwell isn't one of the best first basemen ever played the game? No. That's no knock on them. I'm just saying there are 3 reasons I have as a club not to pay him $40 million. I am definitely not paying him $52 million. There's no way this side of heaven or Hades that I'm going to pay Kyle Tucker that much. Now, I think Kyle Tucker, you know how the Boston Red Sox offered Alex Bregman 2 years, $80 million. He opted out after his first $40 million. I think something like that's more realistic, but I don't even know that he scratches a surface on that. The only club that does a deal like that, a $52 million contract, would be the Los Angeles Dodgers. Remember, they once paid, what's his name? Mr. Bauer, 40-something million on opt-out deals. You remember that ridiculous deal? Gave him like $45 million for like 1 year. If anybody's drunk enough at the table to do that, it would be the Los Angeles Dodgers. I don't see anybody else doing that.
Yes. So I don't know if Kyle Tucker would do that, just because he's looking for the long-term deal. And I understand, especially the Astros would definitely be out on that. But if it's a short-term deal, maybe they would possibly be interested in Kyle Tucker returning back to Houston where he's comfortable. I know that a couple of people online have been mentioning that. But getting back to Ranger Suarez, some people have been asking in the chat, well, what's his market value? His market value is about $26.9 million per season. So, but you'll probably have to get him at about 6 years, $161.5 million. So I just, going back to who Jim Crane is and how he operates.
Wait, who is this that suggested this?
It was Paul Himkides or Paul Himbo. But a lot of people on MLB Network, I want to say it was even some other people have kind of saying this might be a option for the Astros. So,
okay. Yes. Okay. So this is weird. And look, I don't think the national guys say things just to say things. Like, I don't think they're clickbait artists. I don't think they're rage baiters and all that stuff. Right. I don't think they're trolls. But some of the suggestions that like come from Harold Reynolds and some of these guys from ESPN are very just obtuse. They don't make any sense. Kyle Tucker's not signing. Jim Crane's not paying $52 million to anybody. I mean, you see he has paid quite a bit of people, right? But there's no way $52 million for 20. He wasn't even fully healthy. He didn't even have a great year this last year in a Cubs uniform. And even the last year he was with the Astros in 2023, he was terrible. Well, 2023, last time they were in the playoffs. I mean, last time that they had a chance to really do something in the playoffs, they obviously went in 24 against the Tigers. But yeah, like $52 million, that to me, I would see that more of a Bregman or Bichette type deal. And I don't even think they get that. Maybe if you're talking Fernando Tatis Jr. as a free agent, maybe that's a deal. But I think he needs to bring that 52 down. Maybe 36, 38. That's way more money than he's ever made.
Brett, what you need to understand is that on a short-term deal, you have to give more versus a long-term deal. And that's why the Dodgers did to Trevor Bauer.
No, I completely understand that. But 52 is way out of bounds. You're not going to give Kyle Tucker more than Juan Soto. I don't see it. I mean, you know what? If it happens, I'll gladly be wrong. I'll gladly be wrong on this. But I just don't see that happening. I think I understand the thought process. I still think it's too lofty. Just like I think Framber Valdez's expectations for a contract are too lofty. Just like I think Ranger Suarez's expectations are too. I think these players are wanting more. And that's why I see a lot of people like Alex Bregman either goes to Boston or he goes to Arizona. Bo Bichette goes back to Toronto. Framber Valdez goes to Baltimore. Why? They need an ace. They need a durable guy for the next 5 to 7 years. He's a ground ball pitcher in the American League East, and he's beaten the beast of the East. So Framber Valdez, I think, is explicitly almost guaranteed to be a Baltimore Oriole, even after signing Pete Alonso.
Yeah, it's. I think what it is the CBA is scaring a lot of owners. They don't know what's going to happen, and a lot of players too, because maybe they can make more money on the flip side. So
well, it's going to go up. I mean, the CBT, it's just like taxes, whenever they built the, Beltway 8, the tollway, they were like, once it's paid for, guess what? It will be free. Eric, has the tollway in Houston, Sam Houston Park Tollway, have any of those tollways ever gone down in price?
No.
Nope. They go up, and that's
what 288 has gone down a little bit.
288's gone down tollway. Are you sure? Because that
it was $15 to get from my area to downtown, but now it's $6. But what they did is they vary it. So if it's congested time, it's going to be $15.
Yes, because I know they raise it because Missouri County, I think, voted 6-0 to raise it. Yeah, that's crazy. But hey, we could, this is not an economic show, but baseball is about economics. And you know what? That's why people come here, Eric. And that's why I want people to know that tuning into Locked On Astros, making us the #1 Astros podcast, is amazing. And look, tomorrow we're going to talk more stuff going forward in the 2026 season. So make sure you subscribe. Follow Locked On Astros, and you'll get all the latest episodes. If you need a last-minute New Year's Eve gift, I mean, is that a thing? I think so. We just made it one. Or someone keeps asking you, you know what? I forgot to get you something this Christmas. What should I get you? Then you know what? Say, I want to become a part of the Everydayer Club. Ad-free episodes of my favorite show of Eric and Brett, exclusive Discord server access where I can talk smack, where I can get subscriptions, and they can be gifted through LockedOnAstros.supercast.com. For those of you on video, we send you to the first ever 24/7 national Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel. On audio, make sure you make your second listen Locked On MLB.
And guys, thank you for making us your first listen. And one day this week, we're going to do our 2026 Astros New Year's resolutions. If you want to go ahead and put up some suggestions on what the Astros need to do to be a better team, maybe to get to the World Series again in 2026, what should the resolutions be? Go ahead and send it to us through X, through YouTube, whatever it is, and we'll go ahead and spotlight some of your suggestions. So we'll go and see y'all tomorrow. Thank you for making us your first listen.
Go Stros.